All right, the possibilities are endless with Sauce. So let's talk draft theory instead here with Cynthia Freeland, Bucky Brooks, and Daniel Jeremiah. Cynthia is going to kind of outlay a draft range here for us. And then within that range, DJ and Bucky are going to try to find the best fit for these players. Look, let's start right up there with Sauce Gardner. Lance Zierlein had him going number 4 to the New York Jets in his latest mock. Where do you see it, Cynthia?
Well, I'm Italian, and we take a great amount of pride in our sauce. So I'm going to tell you how my sauce is made when it comes to the recipe for figuring out this draft formula, which is essentially taking a historical look at the people who are actually making these draft picks in the actual front offices to get a range of where they will likely go. And for Sauce Gardner, that range falls between 3 and 11. In 68.4% of my simulations, he falls within this 8-slot range.
And I look at a team in that range. A team has 2 picks, the New York Jets. This is the 9th player I've given them in the first round on today's show. I'm going to give them Sauce Gardner to pair up. I think I've given them Garrett Wilson. I think I've also given
Just wait till
them
mock
a
draft
defensive lineman.
Yeah, everybody.
No, this is the best corner in the draft, hands down.
Oh, there you go. All right, I like it. Let's get to the top safety on the board here, Cynthia. Let's find a range for Notre Dame's Kyle Hamilton.
So the safety position has a bigger range just because historically we don't see it taken as high. So his range falls between 5 and 15 in order to get into that sweet spot of like between 60 and 70%. And that happens in 67.2% of the simulations that he ends up in that 10-slot range.
Okay, Bucky, how about a fit there within those picks there between 5 and 15?
The Commanders. The Washington Commanders are a nice fit for Kyle Hamilton. As a box safety who has center field range and skills, he's intriguing. You put him in the middle of that defense, Jack Del Rio, Ron Rivera. They need an enforcer in the middle of the field. Kyle Hamilton is that enforcer. And I think they can unlock some of that other stuff that he brings to the table.
Yeah, I think Lance had him going right to the very next team on the clock there with the Vikings at 12, so right in that range. Let's get to another corner here. Talk about Derek Stingley. This is a really interesting one. How did you find the range here for the LSU stud?
Well, he does have a bigger range than Sauce Gardner does. It's between 3 and 16. Why? Because we did see his performance sort of drop off throughout college. So that will lead evaluators to potentially rate him in a different way. By the way, it's 65.4% of the simulations that he ends up with at this 13-slot range. But interestingly enough, it is a much bigger range than a guy of his skill set. He has a very high top-end skill set, but the range just got a lot bigger because we saw an erosion of his skills over his college experience.
All right, DJ, find us a home there within that range.
Well, I've been singing this tune for a while here with the Minnesota Vikings, and I think the Patrick Peterson connection, the LSU connection there, gives him a mentor on campus there with the Minnesota Vikings. It's a need for them. I just think that fits too good to pass up. If he were to be there, you know, we can talk about how his play had eroded over the last 2 years. I've seen it as well. You go back to 2019, and man, if you could just somehow get that version of him, it would be a real steal.
Oh, I love that. Really curious to see where he goes. I was just one of those guys, kind of like Kayvon Thibodeau, where the range kind of is a bunch of different places and some real intrigue when we get to Las Vegas.